Dry January is all the rage right now, but our next guest wants you to understand that sobriety isn't just a 31-day challenge for everyone. Dallas 24-Hour Club CEO Tim Grigsby joins me this morning to explain the difference from, quote, taking a break and real recovery, and why this trend, it can be helpful, but it can also be misleading. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Aaron.
So glad to have you here. Let's break down a little bit about what I just said in that intro. How is Dry January different than a lifelong sobriety commitment?
Sure. So Dry January is a pause. It's a 31-day, I'm going to give up alcohol or something else where I have an intention to drink on February 1st or sometime in February, maybe Valentine's Day, who knows. Lifelong sobriety is I've made a decision to quit for good and for all. And I need to do something about that every day to keep it going.
Yes, indeed. Okay, and like you said, people kind of take on the trend. It's usually a trend that always falls at the beginning of the year, and they just see it as a simple reset. But you say it can be more complicated than just a 31-day break, that it can even reveal deeper habits or challenges. What do you think is revealed in that way?
Sure. Well, first of all, if you're doing the Dry January challenge, I salute you. Nobody is ever going to care why you got sober. Getting sober is inherently a good thing, especially if alcohol is a problem for you. So good on you. A lot of times when people take the alcohol away, their life doesn't miraculously get better. Maybe there's some underlying conditions. Maybe that alcohol has been, honestly, I've been self-medicating because I have an underlying depression or anxiety or some family issues that I haven't addressed. So when we take away that, we still got work to do. Maybe that's not the only problem.
But it was the biggest one. It was the biggest one we could see. It was the mask. Okay, I see where you're going.
Well, it's like if you're in a pit of alligators, which one do you want to attack first? The closest one.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? The closest may mean that I'm a problem drinker and that I need to cut that out of my life. But that's not the end of the process.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
It's just the beginning, almost that first step. Let me ask you this, because you just said typically you'll get a positive response, right, from saying, okay, I've given up drinking, or people won't normally question your sobriety, but they will question if you're like out socially and you say, oh, I'm okay, I'm not gonna have a drink, and then they say, well, why? You know what I mean? Why do you think there's that stigma attached to not drinking, especially in social settings?
You know, honestly, I think that the stigma is more in our head, and it's the fact that I care so deeply about what I think you think of me. You know, and I don't drink is a full sentence. It's setting a healthy boundary. But if you're struggling with that, if you're thinking about that, come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
You know, I would say I don't drink because I'm diabetic. I don't drink because I have an early morning meeting tomorrow. But just remember that, you know, setting that boundary is a healthy thing for you, and thinking about it beforehand is good, but at the end of the day, I think most people are just going to say, oh, he's not drinking. Yeah. They're not thinking about what I'm saying. And they'll move on.
And we probably think about it, like you said, a lot more than they're thinking about it, but also being prepared going in with that little script and knowing what you're going to say when someone asks you. I think that relieves some of the anxiety that comes along with those social settings.
Having a game plan.
Exactly. And you know what? It's not their business, no way. So
yes, that's correct.
Tell me, how does Dallas 24-Hour Club support people who want to take on lifelong sobriety farther than just this 31-day challenge?
Yeah, so we provide transitional living support services and essential life skills for homeless alcoholics and addicts so they can embrace long-term sobriety and become productive and contributing members of the community. But as well, we're open to the public for support groups, 12-step meetings. We're staffed 24 hours a day with people that are in recovery that you can come speak with. And, you know, we can help you. You know, sometimes even when people are doing Dry January, they may find that they're having some issues. It seems pretty easy, right? I'm not going to do this for 31 days.
Something is hard until you give it up for real, yeah.
And that's where you may find out, hey, maybe I need some help. And instead of, you know, going at this alone,
Get a bit of support.
And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is ask for help. But
That is the #1 hardest thing to do, taking that first step and then seeking community and making sure that you can get to the finish line. Thanks so much for being here this morning. I'm sure someone at home has been rejuvenated or reinvigorated to maybe start their challenge. And if you mess up, it is okay. You guys start the challenge over. It doesn't have to necessarily end on January 31st. It can end whenever you want it to.
that's correct.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, we appreciate you. And if you want to learn so much more, you can visit dallas24hourclub.org.